Hello, everyone. Welcome to another podcast episode of Haystack Nation. How's everyone doing?
Doing good.
Good.
All right.
Going good.
Here with Jesse, Dwayne, Evanette, Vanessa. We got a special guest with us. We got Jordan. Jordan, your last name is Delarmonte?
Delarmonte, yes, sir.
Okay, whew, got it right. Awesome, man. Thanks for joining us, Jordan.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always wanted to do this. I beg Dwayne every time he comes by. Dude, let me on, man. Let me on.
Well, I sure hope this is not a letdown for you.
No. I'm already excited.
We're thrilled to have you, man. Thank you for volunteering to sacrifice every ounce of self-esteem and reputation to be on Haystack Nation.
I'm ready.
All right, man. Great. Well, yeah. So this is kind of our Valentine's Day special?
Yeah.
Right. Because Valentine's Day is right around the corner.
Yeah, it's
Yes, sir.
Sunday?
Yeah. Well, no, it's Sunday. Oh, it is Sunday.
It is Sunday.
Oh, yeah, Sunday.
Yeah. That's why we have a lovely plate of chocolate-covered strawberry made by the Haystack cooking team.
Right.
Which is basically
which is Vanessa
our
and
wives.
Evanette.
Yeah.
We're the
TikTok video.
We're the Haystack Nation taste testers.
Yeah.
That's what Dwayne and I do. We just taste the stuff.
Yep.
And Jordan just gets to look at it.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're just gonna, we're gonna talk to Jordan today a little bit about what single life is like these days for a young man that is, just maybe hoping one day to get married. I think that's the plan, right, Jordan?
Yeah. So to be completely honest, I've always thought that there's like steps in life you have to reach before you start dating.
Yeah.
It's like you have your degree, cool, got it. Next, you reach that salary to provide for two people, check, got it. So I'm like, this is my year, this is my time. Time to dial in.
Well, Jordan, you came to the right place. After you appear on this show, you'll get phone calls from all kinds of ladies wanting to hook up with you.
No.
Because we have a...
I'm trying to...
Just provide us with your phone number. We'll flash it on the screen.
Have options.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's over. I trust you guys more than my parents setting me up with someone in the Philippines, so we're good.
Oh, okay. Very good. All right. Well, the expectations are high.
I mean, we might still set you up with someone from the Philippines. We have viewers from there, too, so...
You never know. We're worldwide. We're international.
We are. You guys are. You guys are.
Oh, I like the way he really encourages us. It's awesome. Well, before we talk more to Jordan, and Jordan, you can get involved in this as well. But I want to kind of do I don't know if it's a quiz, but just like a little game question trivia. Is that okay with you all?
Yeah. Go for it.
This is totally improv. Like, I don't have anything scripted or written down for this. I'm just gonna ask you guys questions. And again, Jordan, feel free to jump in and join. It's very biblical, okay? So it's appropriate. Don't worry. So since we're gonna be talking about relationships today, and we'll be sharing our our combined years of wisdom with Jordan. But I wanted to ask you all about maybe thinking about the different couples in Scripture. How many couples can you think of that are in Scripture? Like, let's just
Start naming them.
start naming them, man. See how many we can come up with. And Jordan, again, you're free. Feel free to jump in and just to see what our couples knowledge is.
Okay, I'll start.
Adam and Eve.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Adam and Eve.
Adam and Eve.
Okay, Adam and Eve. That one didn't work out too well, did it?
Is that all we know?
Not for humanity.
Well, yeah, not for humanity. I mean, I'm sure they,
Sarah and Abraham.
Sarah and Abraham, yeah. What was that story? How did they meet?
Wait,
Do we even know how they met?
They were like half brother, half sister, right?
Yeah, they were. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who was it? Is it Boaz and
Ruth?
Yeah.
That was a good story. My little
Jose and Gomer.
yeah,
Which one was there was another one, Jacob and
Rebecca.
Rachel.
Rachel.
Oh, I mean, yeah, Rachel. Sorry, Isaac and Rebecca. Isaac and Rebecca.
And that one was
Which one?
Rachel and Jacob.
Oh, yeah, that was.
I mean, he worked for almost 14 years.
Yeah. Well, 14 years is what he worked for her. For the first one, for Leia was 7 years, and then Rachel 14 years.
Well, it wasn't supposed to be for Leia.
Well, no, he got jibbed.
Yeah.
Would you wait 14 years for a girl?
I could.
He did.
I
I did wait.
14 years?
I just didn't know what girl it was.
I think it was more than
Oh.
14 years though, right?
That was probably like close to
my.
20 years. So there's hope for you, Jordan. Don't worry.
You're subject matter expert then.
That's a good way to look at it.
SME, yeah.
All right. So, okay, who else? Well, what about Isaac and Rebecca? Look how they met.
How did they meet?
Remember, they went out to search for a partner for Isaac, and the servant went out and basically, didn't know where to start really, and so they went back to his mother's homeland, right?
Correct.
No, it was a mother's.
I thought it was a father's.
It was a mother's family. I think the mother's side of the family. I think it was.
That was Jacob.
Huh?
That was Jacob. He went to the mother's side of the family.
I think so did.
So both. of them?
Okay, so we can always go back and revisit that.
So how did he choose?
But I mean, what happened there? I mean, basically, the servant was like, well, "Where do I start?" And he prayed about it, right? It's like, Lord, whoever comes and fills this, or offers the animals water, she's the one. You might want to try that, Jordan.
With all the animals that
You're right.
around.
Offer water.
the girl that
fills your cup.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
or do you have any pets?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
The girl that
Maybe
comes
that's what I
in.
need is a pet.
Yeah.
To,
Girls like teacup poodles, right? They're so small and cute.
I don't know about that. I think they're kind of gross looking. But I mean, what about you, girl? I mean, do you like animals? Like, if I had a pet, like, would that have made me more attractive?
It is.
Well, I mean, would you have been like, oh, look, he likes pets?
I think that's something that people have in common.
Yeah.
If I had a pet and you had a pet, it would be like, oh, we both like pets.
Yeah, it's like, oh, cool.
Is it like the
But
same thing with
not
children? Oh, you have a child. Oh, that's so cute.
I mean, if I
I'm just kidding.
kind of do.
Just like, oh, I don't
Hold
know.
on.
Jordan, do you have pets?
No.
It's actually funny you say that because my Tinder profile is with me and a dog.
The what?
My Tinder profile is with me and a dog.
Is that a random dog or?
No. It's my dog.
Okay.
But, like, when you guys talked about kids, I have a picture with, like, my piano teacher's baby, like, newborn, in my arms. And people are always asking, is that your baby? I'm like, no, it's just for the gram, for Tinder.
It's just a prop.
It's just a prop.
Exactly.
Well, whatever works. All right. Other couples? Well, what about Samson and Delilah?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a toxic
Yeah.
relationship.
That
That was pretty bad. So what's the moral of that story? The prettiest girl is not always the best one.
I don't think that's necessarily the moral.
I think that was the moral of the whole story. I think that was it.
Don't trust pretty women.
don't trust pretty women. Jordan, are you writing all this down? This is really important stuff.
I got one.
I'm taking notes.
I got one.
What you got?
What about Solomon?
Saul. Yeah,
Saul.
that just shows you how having too many women in your life will ruin your life.
He had what, 1,000.
Well, he had what? Was it 1,000 total, or was it 1,000 wives and another 1,000 concubines, or
I think it was like 1,000 total.
1,000 total? Yeah, that's all.
There's plenty more. Mary and Joseph.
Mary and Joseph. Yeah.
I said Jose and Gomer.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one too. Yeah, because that was a very interesting relationship. Because that one that God was actually told Hosea to commit to.
Sapphira and Ananias.
Oh, in the New Testament.
Yeah.
That they were the ones that try to steal.
Didn't end up
Crafty couple there. That didn't work out well. What happened to they just died right on the spot?
They died on the spot.
On the spot. Well, at least they died together. That's sweet.
Like Romeo and Juliet, huh?
Yeah. Something like that. But coming back to Hosea and Gomer, that one's really interesting and fascinating because Hosea was a prophet, right? Was a messenger for God, and Gomer was a prostitute.
Yeah. He was told to marry her.
Yeah, and God, but why? Let's not forget the reason why. Do y'all know why?
Remind us.
Well, it's because he was trying to use them as an illustration for his people. Like the people had gone away from God, right? And God was constantly trying to call them back and forgiving them, and he wanted to use Hosea as somewhat of an illustration to teach Hosea to how great God's love is for his people. That no matter how far they've gone and no matter what they've done, he was always trying to draw them back. And Hosea was like, this is an intense relationship, but God was like, this is what I want you to do. And so that's, I think eventually it worked out.
That is an interesting.
I think it worked out eventually. Yeah, that was an interesting relation. Anyone else?
Moses and is it Zipporah?
Yes.
Zipporah, yeah.
Moses and Zipporah. Yeah, I guess he met her where? In the fields?
He met her after he escaped from Egypt, because he had to leave after he killed the...
She was a shepherdess.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
He fought off the
Midianites. No, not the Midian. The
men that were
at the well.
harassing her and her sisters, I guess.
Yeah, so another way you can meet a woman is to rescue the damsel in distress.
Have you done that yet, Jordan?
I was trying to.
Please share. We want to hear this story.
Share this story.
Oh, this actually happened recently. Essentially, I was talking to a girl for like about a month, but we had known each other for like a year, and then I was encouraging her, like helping her out with the resumes, all that stuff, and then she pretty much just dropped me like it was hot, and she ghosted me. I haven't heard from her since. She Caspered me.
Oh, sounds
after you
if you're
rescued her.
listening to this,
yeah, that's kind of hurtful.
I try to rescue you. I try to help you out. No, I'm just kidding.
So,
She's not listening.
so did you try like reaching out and she just like ignored you, or?
Yeah, pretty much. And then like you can only text a girl like so many times without like being a creep. So it was like 2 messages in a week and then it was done. I was like, all right, not working out.
Yeah, I think 3 messages and you're starting to become creepy, right?
Creepy. 3 messages, maybe
it's like 3 strikes and you're out.
maybe a visit to the home, and
No, see that's crazy.
3 messages. 3 messages.
It
okay.
has been a while since you
Is
dated.
there a limit? I mean, really, there's a limit.
Yes.
Okay.
3 messages.
3 messages. Look, man.
Before you-
When I met Vanessa, I didn't even know about text messaging. So that's how long ago this was.
Wow.
But text messages did exist back then. Let's just put it out there.
Let's just say they just started coming out with text messaging.
No, I did not.
Let's just say I didn't know much about technology back then. Yeah. So, hey, Jordan, so for real, I mean, what's it like, being your age, being single? I mean, I'm sure it's a challenge. I mean, what challenges are there? What's it like to be a single guy these days? And, not just a single guy, but a Christian guy. You want to look for a Christian relationship. But, yeah, what's it like? What's it been like for you?
I hate to bash this city, but like I feel like
And what city is
Albuquerque.
this? Oh.
Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I feel like the city's just like a big like everyone just looking like hook up, be done, and just on to the next. And like that's not the same values I have.
Yeah.
And that's why like a lot of girls I have met are like a mom with like 3 kids, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm not trying to instantly have a family.
Yeah.
I'm trying to grow one, not just instant like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, another thing is like I think I read an article where I think my generation is super shallow in that I read an article saying like if you're 5'6" to 5'7", you have to make at least $125,000 a year to compete with another man that's 6 foot plus, trying to attract the same types of females.
Oh, that's an interesting statistic.
Who did this research? That's what I want to know.
The Barna Group.
I forgot where I read it, but it was an article that I'd read.
That's fascinating.
That's kind of where like I'm nowhere near that salary. Just an FYI, disclaimer out there.
What about the height?
But exactly, I'm 5'6", so
I guess
but
shout
yeah,
out
so
to
like
my
it's just
brother.
hard. Yikes! Which one? Both?
No. Who make up for his height, I guess.
That's a lot of pressure, man. I mean that sounds like that could be a pretty that could be a pretty devastating article for someone that's maybe height challenged and thinking that I got to make this much money to attract a certain type of. I mean, I don't know. That just seems a little extreme, really, to think that way, or to think that it's all a relationship can be quantitated that way. I don't know.
But that's the way the world's viewing it. That's not necessarily
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And that is how the world views it.
Yeah. That's wow. Okay.
But like another thing about like New Mexico, at least like our young adults in the Adventist like faith, it's so small, it's so minuscule. So it's like if I'm like one single guy looking for a girl, then there's like 30 of us. There's not the same girl to guy ratio, and there's not a lot of young adults in the first place.
So are there as far as the churches that like the Adventist churches how many are there in the area, or is it also kind of a very small small Adventist community?
Yeah, definitely a small Adventist community. So like all these churches though are like small in itself. So, like maybe if we like combined a bunch of churches, then we'd finally like I would see the church as more than like 30 people that show up on the same Sabbath. But that's kind of like how I view the Adventist church, and that's why I go to like a non-denominational Christian like youth group, because I can actually meet other like Christ-following people that are my age, and that's not the same two people I see every Sabbath.
Yeah, that is challenging, especially if you don't have a lot of social groups like Adventist social groups. I mean, how do you?
That's my life.
That's your life?
That was my life.
That was your life.
Yeah.
You didn't have a large Adventist community.
Me and my sisters.
How did you manage?
I mean, I guess when I was old enough, like driving wise, I came into.
That's true. You did
city.
Venture out.
Yeah, I ventured out. Because all the churches that we grew up in, we were out in little country churches where it was just my siblings and I. We were the only young people, and as I got older, I decided to kind of venture out, and I found a group that. I
was just going to say, I found a great guy.
Well, I found a group of young people because I never had that growing up, and so kind of went into came into Fort Worth and found a church that had a young group that was there. Of course, everyone was still a little bit older than me, but
yeah. Are there other like? Sorry, did you finish your thought? Because of that,
ahead.
I will say are there any other like towns, other cities around Albuquerque?
Yeah, like Gallup maybe.
Gallup.
5 hours away.
Albuquerque's kind of the
Las
major
Cruces.
city.
I mean, come on, man. Maybe you can
4
drive.
hours away.
Santa Fe. Isn't Santa Fe?
Oh, that's the closest one.
Yeah.
But even then, they have like one church, I think, in the entire city.
Really?
Hey, but
Don't quote me, but
maybe Texas.
Maybe Texas.
Maybe Texas,
That's funny that
Jordan?
you guys say that.
El Paso's 3 hours away.
Did you guys just talk about which Bible character had to go to a different land to find their wife?
Yeah,
That's kind of like what my parents were telling me to do. Like, maybe you just got to get out of here.
Is that an option?
Venture out.
No, it's not. I'm contracted with the Army Guard here, so yeah, that's not an option. 3 more years.
Yeah. So what are you, Jordan? I mean, what are you looking for in a potential relationship? You know, what are some of the things that you value? Some of the things that are important to you. We're gonna set up a profile for you.
Let's do it. I mean, here, you guys can rate this. This is like my. I'm on a Christian dating app, and like my bio says, trying to give 1 Corinthians 13 type love to a Proverbs 31 woman.
Oh,
That's pretty good.
And then
what's Proverbs 31 say?
yeah, I got you. I have the Bible right here.
It's for the virtuous
It's a
woman.
virtuous woman.
Oh.
Come on, Jesse.
There you go. Yep.
Sorry, my Bible knowledge kind
Someone
of
that's more
slipped up.
precious than jewels.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. So more specific though.
More specific.
Oh, I mean, like, it's pretty, like, someone that's family oriented, someone that believes in God, someone that has goals, someone that's adventurous, and someone that I can work to build a life together with, like, build an empire, shall they say, like, 2 individuals that can grow together in God, start a family, and just grow and build.
Yeah. All right, you got that down? You got
I
it?
know.
Yeah.
Are you guys listening? No.
No,
It's being recorded.
it's been recorded. So we can revisit this. And so, you know, I mean, what is your? I guess you have moments where you get a little discouraged, or you're thinking to yourself, like, okay, is this ever going to happen, or when is it going to happen? You know, how do you? I guess how do you manage those moments, or you know, how do you? Yeah.
Yeah, so like with that girl that I talked about, like when that happened, that like devastated me. It like hurt my self esteem. It hurt like I just started doubting myself. But then ultimately, I have to realize like I'm not put on this earth to find a wife. I'm here on this earth to serve God, and He's blessed me like exponentially. So despite how bad life gets with in terms of dating, it's nothing compared to what I have to be grateful for.
Well, that's
that's kind of just something that I've kind of just come up with, like within the last 48 hours, just talking to Dwayne and Evanette.
Oh, that's great. You did mention Evanette was one of your favorite role models, or her family, you know, was very influential in your life. Good to see that influence continues. Yeah.
But just to circle back on being devastated, relationships take work, man. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something that just happens overnight. I guess it just depends, right, on the perspective of the person. I mean, it can happen for some people, but like good Bible believing Christians like Jordan, who's looking for certain, you know, Christian goals, sometimes it takes work. You know, it just
and then time. Sometimes
time,
it's not.
yeah.
It's not always necessarily our time.
Correct. And everyone is at a different point in their life, right? I mean, for example, the girl that you were talking to, she may have just been in a totally different place at the time, you know, and that's why she hasn't responded, you know. But
yeah, but that was kind of mean anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
But I mean, that's a valid point. Like, it could be my issue of just trying to date people that are like, not a lot of 25-year-olds, 24-year-olds have their stuff together like that. At least in the worldly sense, or people that don't come from a good family. I know a lot of 25, 24-year-olds that are still trying to figure their lives out. So maybe that's on me, and maybe I got to bump my age from like 25 to 45 instead. But like,
don't go that far. That comes with a lot of other life problems. No, but I mean, you have a very mature way of looking at things too. I mean, it takes a lot, Jordan, to be able to step back and say, you know, maybe, you know, one of the things that I think I guess in my experience, that I really desired the most was, to have a relationship with somebody. And so it wasn't easy to go, year after year after year sometimes, just like, well, who does God have for me and where and how is this going to happen, So it takes a lot of maturity, even on your part, Jordan, to kind of step back and say, despite maybe not having this in my life, but I can see God's blessings in other areas of my life. I mean, that takes a pretty strong-minded person to be able to, look at life that way. And if anything, I mean, that's a big. It just shows a lot about how you think about things and how you approach your own challenges and your own personal challenges. So I think that's great for you.
And you're focusing on the things that God's blessing you with too. I think that's one of the most important things we should do as Christians is continually look to those blessings and be happy about that. We don't, life doesn't have to end because of one sour relationship. And I mean, you're gonna date, right? You're in the dating phase, man. You're gonna come across different relationships. You're gonna date different girls, and eventually you'll find the one that.
And the good thing is also when the right person comes into your life, Jordan, you're gonna be a happy person. You're not going to be one of those like resentful, bitter, down, negative types of people, because you've spent the last few years developing a mindset of positivity and looking and gratefulness and gratitude and looking at and walking closely with God. So when that right person comes into your life, I mean, you're going to be a happy guy. She's not going to find someone that's going to be down in the dumps and looking at life in a negative way.
It's going to ghost you.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that's actually funny that it's about happiness. It's like, I think I forgot where I read this, but it's like dating and marriage is not supposed to make you happy. It's supposed to you're supposed to do holiness for God. Like that's the entire point. Like, marriage and dating is not for happiness. It's for holiness. And I was just like, I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Another bumper sticker.
Put that one. Make sure you write that one down, Dwayne. And then the other aspect of relationships is that every relationship is risky. There's always a risk with a relationship. The risk is obviously hurt, rejection, those kind of things. I mean, it's always part of the relationship, part of being out there and developing relationships is it's always going to be like there's a risk to that, where the relationship may not work out, or for some reason the relationship falls apart. It's not always a person's fault, but that's just kind of the nature of things too. So with relationship seeking, there's also going to be the possibility of hurt and the possibility of, some of the things that you mentioned earlier that you've experienced. So, but again, coming back to your spiritual life and your faith, I think sounds like it's an important part of your life too.
And that's why I feel like it's kind of dangerous that like I go to these types of churches. I go to these non-denominational churches to make friends, not really to look for a relationship, because I know that like being unequally yoked is super important to me, and it could be super dangerous too at the same time. I mean, all the relationships I've personally seen growing up being unequally yoked usually don't work out, at least on the military Adventist group.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
What do you ladies
and
think
is that dangerous for me to think like that?
Yeah, that's true. What about you, you ladies in here? I mean, if you married a couple of really handsome, great-looking Adventist gentlemen.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome, Dwayne. I mean, when what. I know that you guys are not single at this point in time in your life, but like it may appear that way sometimes, yes. But like, okay, when you were, when you were single, when you were looking for a guy, I mean, what's your perspective? Like, what's a woman's perspective on finding a, potential Adventist Christian husband?
That's a good question, Jesse.
I only ask good questions because I want to help my friend Jordan.
Here's another question.
There we go.
Did you guys at any point while y'all were looking for, a relationship, did y'all ever pray that the right person would come into your life?
I mean,
Maybe
yeah,
that's a question.
I I prayed for, for God to send me the man he wants me to marry. But I will commend Jordan. I don't think I was that mature when I was his age. I think I got married about your age, maybe 24. I think I was 24 and you were...
Don was like 35, 36.
No, he's not that older. But I would say I was about his age. But circling back to what he was saying about how we find our happiness, I think a lot of the time his generation is like, I'll be happy when I find my other half.
Yep.
Where we feel like there's always that missing part of us.
Mm-hmm.
And once we have that other person, we feel like we're complete. But now that I think about it, it's like, well, we should already be complete in God, right? In Jesus. So I think a lot of the time, young kids these days don't feel complete already. Unless they already have their other half. And I think a lot of maybe social media or
media in general,
movies, the way they confess their love to the other, like, I was nobody until I met you.
That's how I felt about Vanessa.
or
That was true.
Or like in Hollywood, right? Like,
is that how you confessed your love? I was nothing without you.
Yeah.
the way Hollywood portrays love these days.
Hollywood is real. Okay, guys.
But the way it portrays it, right? It's like the guy walks in and the girl's like immediately attracted to him, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Right? And that's not really reality. Sometimes, most of the time, it takes work, like we've been talking about. It's part of life. You meet people, you learn how to go through different scenarios, I guess, if you will, and if you're complete in Jesus, like Evan is saying, and complete in God, I mean, you move on, knowing that, well, you still have the most important thing in your life, and that's God.
Yeah.
And he's going to take you down the path that you need to go,
Yeah. How about you, Vanessa? What looking, was there certain qualities that you were thinking, okay, this is what I want, in a Christian person?
I mean, there was, like Evan said, it was something that I had always prayed about. I also grew up with family who had really bad relationships. So to me, praying about it and wanting to have God like show me was really important to me, because I didn't want to make that decision. I didn't want to make a mistake, because I had seen all these other relationships where people chose poorly and they didn't end well. So for me, that was really important. I wanted somebody who also shared the same faith. That was like my number one thing for me, because I didn't have a whole bunch of young people that I grew up with, like that kind of community. So being able to share that with a potential spouse was like top of my list. Like I don't, and obviously, I mean, I had other friends who were non-Adventists who, were interested in relationships, but I was like what Jordan was saying, I was a little worried about that, because when you are with somebody who doesn't have that same, who doesn't share that same beliefs or faith with you, it can pull you away from that relationship. And I did not want that. So I waited.
Yeah.
How long?
Not as long as Jesse, but
I was going to get to that.
So
but I mean,
yeah.
I was just going to say, I mean, for me, I did wait, and I wasn't very long, but he is actually the only person that I've actually dated, because I was very much like, this is the kind of person that I want to be with. And
dude, that sounds like Hollywood.
Hollywood.
He walks into the church and she's like,
that was me.
Bam, no, actually.
The doors open. And I walked in.
Okay. Jesse was preaching, right?
Man, the first time I met Vanessa, I introduced myself. She forgot my name the minute I walked away from her.
So see, there's hope.
So it's like, great. Okay, thanks. Talk about being ghosted.
I was like, wait, what was his name?
But
Justin?
Okay, but okay. So Jordan, I mean, I didn't get married till I was 30. No, hold on. How old was I?
34, 35.
It was a long
31?
time. 31. I think it was 31.
31.
Yeah. So
Way older than you, Jordan.
I met Vanessa. I met Vanessa when I was 20. And here's the thing about me: it's like I was no longer. And I mean, as far as the Adventist community goes, look, I was out of college. I was, in the real world working real jobs. I mean, I wasn't. The only connection I had with Adventist people was my church, and even my church, there was not a whole lot of options. I mean, it was an older church with older church members, and there just wasn't. I mean, we had an adult group, but
Not anybody you were interested in.
yeah, not anyone I was interested in. So I mean, I didn't know where to look really. I was kind of at a loss. I was like, okay, I'm getting a little older, and I haven't found anyone yet, and I've been praying about this. So when is this going to happen? And that was pretty challenging. And it wasn't until later in life that I actually found someone. Later in life, like like I was 70 years old or something. But I mean, in terms of like wanting to be with someone, I had to wait a little bit longer than what I would have probably preferred or liked. But it's one of those things that I kept trusting that God would bring someone into my life that would share the same values and the same faith. And when it happened, I think I was, in a pretty good place. And so, I think Jordan, being patient is key, and holding on to your faith, like Dwayne was also saying. Holding on to your faith and developing your faith, because your faith is what's going to make you truly complete and truly happy. And when that person comes into your life, they're going to find a complete, healthy, happy person, and they'll be thrilled. I mean, it'll be a good start to a hopefully growing, developing relationship, for whatever years to come. Do you have questions for us? Like, is anything on your mind that you're like, this has been on my mind? I'll have a question for you all.
So, like, were you guys actively searching, or did your significant others just come to you?
I was not searching.
Because I know, like, you guys are praying about it, but, like, Are you searching, or?
I had no options to go search. I was like in search and rescue mode, like, rescue me.
I mean, for me.
I was looking, but maybe I just didn't know at that point in my life, Jordan. I just didn't know where to look. Like felt I was running out of places to look. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. For me, I mean, dude, I was at the age where
Dwayne was a hunter.
I like girls, man. All right, I'm not gonna lie. I knew I wanted to be with a girl. I wanted to date a girl, and
see, I was like Esau, and I'm like Jacob. He's like Esau. He's the hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what I did, Jordan? I rented a house here in Keene, Texas, next to the college, because I had already started working. I was out in the real world. I wasn't hanging out with any groups. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go hang out with my buddies in Keene, and maybe I'll get lucky. And it worked out. We reconnected while I was living in Keene, Evanet and I.
But see, here's the thing: we were just kind of friends for a while.
Yeah.
And I was actually dating.
He was dating
another
other girls.
girl, and she was dating someone else too.
He was on the prowl, so you were looking. Yeah. You were actively looking.
I mean,
you were setting up shop outside of the university.
Maybe that's what I should do. I
was like 27 years old.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean.
No, I'm not gonna do that then. 27.
Was that 20? No, maybe. 28. I was about your age, actually. 20. Are you 25?
25, yeah.
Yeah, because I did finish college a little later than usual. So,
were you looking, Evanet?
Was I looking?
She had a boyfriend.
I mean, not to settle down. I think I was still kind of in school, but I was working, and I was still hanging out with friends, and I was like, well, this guy wants to hang out. Let's hang out.
Let's hang out then, right? Little did you know.
Little did you know.
Yeah.
So
But I mean, we put ourselves out there, right? That's the moral of the story. We put ourselves out there. And
well, I think, Jordan, what you get from this group is just a variety of people that had different experiences meeting someone. Like Dwayne was actively looking. I running out of options. Vanessa, she got it right off the bat right there. Evan was like, "Hey, Dad, let's go hang out and be friends with everybody." So I mean, you kind of get like, all of us just had a different experience with the dating scene, but ultimately, wow, I mean, God really worked it out for us. I guarantee you, man. I mean, God will work it out for you.
Yeah.
You're right, and that's the ultimate, like, having faith in God, and I know that He has my back. But man, I forgot what I was going to ask.
Next question, please.
Yeah, I'll keep on going. So this is what I was going to say. So pretty much, this is why I reached out to Dwayne and wanting to speak to older adults that aren't my parents. I guess I don't know how to
quote unquote.
I don't know what you guys.
Goodbye, Jordan.
Hey, we only have one old guy in this group. That's it.
You guys are more mature, as opposed to the let's say my friends that I talk to. Like my friends that I talk to, they're all. I'm from Pacific Union College, by the way, the greatest Adventist institution in the country.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But is that a plug-in right there?
I don't think your sister would say that.
They'll sponsor you guys, but essentially, the dating culture there was see what can you get from that person, and I wasn't about that or like that.
Yeah, really. Okay.
You know what? I think we need to set one thing clear though, because we've all stated that, hey, we were looking for those qualities, like maybe with people inside the church, right, or within the Adventist sphere. But even within the Adventist sphere, you can still be unequally yoked.
That is
true. I mean, you can meet someone that with that just you guys aren't gonna jive with each other.
Yeah.
And also, we have friends in our group that they married someone who wasn't from the church, and now they're in the church. I mean, so
that's where prayer comes in.
Yeah, that was the next point I was gonna make. That's where depending on God really works, because He may lead you down look at Hosea.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the crazy, but I mean, yeah, your path may take you to someone who's not in the church,
Right.
But
then, how do you justify that? How do I know when I can justify she's worth pursuing even though she's not in the church?
I think when both of you put God first, and that's y'all's goal in life, I think you'll know that's when it's working out.
I think one of the
most important.
One of the things that one of the advantages of being around socially, I mean, social media is one way to interact with people, but you don't always get the full picture of social media. I mean, people are always going to put their most favorable side on social media, but one of the advantages of kind of being in a group setting and getting to know people in kind of a group setting is that you can kind of see people's attitudes towards different things. So you sometimes you get people that are not in the church or Adventists necessarily, but you get the sense that, wow, this person is honest, is authentic, is open-minded. It seems interested, right, in what I have to say and my beliefs. And sometimes when you get that sense that this person that may be open to your perspective and to your life, it's a good way to also introduce them to your faith and introduce them to God. And I'm not saying that, you go ahead and marry this person immediately or anything, but what I'm saying is that maybe that friendship grows and maybe it turns into something that can be pursued as something more serious. So, I know that's kind of, I wouldn't recommend it or advise it necessarily for someone that's a strong Christian looking for another strong Christian person, but there are some cases where you do run across people, like in our group, right? That couple, absolutely, where it's like they just, they developed a friendship and they knew that they were respectful of each other, they were receptive of what each other said, and ultimately the person that was not Adventist became an Adventist. So it can happen. It just takes faith, and it takes you, Jordan, just kind of being true to yourself and being true to your faith. And I think when you're true to yourself and you're true to your faith, then you can tell the people that may be open and receptive to you and those that may not be.
Yeah.
Right.
Taking notes.
I don't know, man. That's a tough one too. I mean, because it can go either way. Sometimes it does go the wrong way, and that person that is non-Adventist, non-Christian, or may pull you away from your own personal beliefs.
Samson and Delilah.
Samson and Delilah.
Right.
But his priorities weren't very straight after he met her, so
yeah,
things change. But if you keep your priorities straight, you won't fall into that same pitfall like Samson did.
Right, because I don't have a lot of experience in dating, and after she ghosted me, that's when I really started taking guard your heart to heart.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it's I can't just let every single person that hurts me devastate me each and every time, or else I'll always be devastated.
That's a great point. Don't get attached. Don't get emotionally attached to women.
Right.
I'm not emotionally attached to him.
We're not emotionally attached at all.
We're still not, but
no, I'm not saying
married,
I'm not. I'm not saying don't be emotionally involved. I'm just saying don't be attached with them to where you feel like I depend on this person for happiness or
that goes back to being complete.
Right. Exactly.
Be complete without them.
Yes. Be complete without them. So, when I mean.
That could also be taken the wrong way, women these days will be like, I don't need no man.
Sure there are.
I am my own.
I've heard that a couple times in my household. It's just all fun and games.
I don't need you.
I don't need you. I don't need you in my life.
Yeah. Jordan, I think at the end of the day, it's, stand firm on your Christian beliefs. Know that God's going to guide you down the right path and always depend on him to do it. Pray about it. And, put yourself out there, man.
Hey,
There's
Jordan,
wrong with that.
How much longer do you have in the military?
I have 3 years. But,
3 years?
my dad did his 20, my grandfather did his 30. So, that's another thing I got to start. That's what I'm praying about now is, where does God want me to go next? Because 3 years goes by like that. Time waits for no man, and I just got to be prepared.
Hey, man,
while listening to God to wherever He wants me next.
Get yourself. Now that you're in a position right now, you're single. You've got you're financially stable and all. Get yourself a little Sprinter van. A little mobile. Cool little Sprinter van. Deck it out with a nice a nice travel van. And when you're done with your 3 years, man, head out and just go visit places, man. Go to different, churches, different states, different cities. Dude, you're in a position right now where you had that freedom to just go and explore. I would just do that. There. Go and explore.
Jesse's
or you could just
got married.
Or you could just fly there.
No, man. and
wants to live through you.
Yes.
No, if you get a nice, cool little I'm talking about a nice you've probably seen these pictures of Sprinter vans, right? Yeah. The Airstream and Mercedes and all these vans, and really nice. You can go anywhere. Just you don't need a hotel. That's what
Jesse wants
Take a month off, man.
I know.
Go
what
for
would
it.
you do?
Does it sound like that's what I want?
It sure does.
It sure does.
What do you mean? Look at the life you live, man. You come
I know,
home
this
to
is
kids.
amazing.
I love my life, but no, I'm talking about Jordan. He's in the position. He's got freedom, man.
Hey,
and you don't.
I know what you can pray for. I got it.
Okay, that sounded wrong.
How Rebecca
ball and chain.
I know. Golly.
It's more like an anchor.
Who was it?
Are you sure you want this? Are you sure?
I do. I'm ready.
Jesse's painting a beautiful picture of it.
Jesse's saying, "Run away,
keep your freedom."
Don't do it.
Hey, I know how you can find the right girl, Jordan. What to pray for?
How's that?
If she likes haystacks.
If she can listen to you guys.
or the first girl.
Notice how I said if
that
if
makes
she can
you
listen
the perfect haystack. That'll be the one. That's it, man.
God works in mysterious ways.
I've always thought about like maybe I can end up on The Bachelor, the first Adventist Filipino on The Bachelor.
Oh my gosh, you just want to destroy your life, don't you?
I'll wear Haystack Nation gear everywhere.
How come we don't have an Adventist
Bachelor episode?
An Adventist version of The Bachelor?
Have you ever watched The Bachelor?
I know it's cutthroat, man. It's not good.
Yeah.
But instead of roses, we can give like haystacks.
No. These girls will throw them in your face. What? You didn't choose me?
I choose you to give the haystack to.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I actually applied for AdventistSingles.com and they denied my application.
I didn't know they could deny.
They could deny you? Why?
They're like,
Wait,
you're
why?
not good
Because,
enough.
They canceled?
They didn't verify my application because I think I had too many pictures of me in a uniform. That's my guess.
Really?
They denied my application. I was like, I'll send in all my ID verification forms, whatever you guys need. And ultimately, I was like, never mind.
You know what, Jordan? Forget them, man. Forget them.
eHarmony.
God has someone better for you.
That's like the worst one.
God is eHarmony. Okay,
That's right.
God
There we
is
go.
God
Yes.
is the eHarmony. He is the
27
ultimate matchmaker.
dimensions of
What?
Compatibility?
The what?
eHarmony, right? It's based on 27 dimensions of compatibility. You need 28 beliefs to be compatible.
Very nice, Dwayne.
So
Yeah.
Played.
Well, that was good. Jordan, I hope you don't feel like this is a waste of time.
No. This is fun.
hey man,
He's
can talk to you guys forever.
like I'm no longer
Next
top
time I'll go
fan.
there.
thanks for having a date with Haystack Nation tonight, man.
So in conclusion,
Yeah, so
stay true to yourself.
Any other
There it is.
any
There we
other
go.
questions, man? You're
Simple
doing good,
thought.
man. You're doing good.
yeah.
You're very mature, man, and you're living life, and looking at it in a positive way. That's very good.
Dude, you're a lot more mature than I was at your
Yeah.
age, man.
That's
Start looking for a van.
No.
Start looking for that van,
That
right?
man sounds a little creepy though.
It's not creepy. I'm not.
Like-
It's not like it's
He's
not.
gonna get the van,
It's
go
like
to
the shag van
one
of the 70s or
Adventist
60s here, people. Come on.
Gonna take everybody.
You gonna sell ice
the
cream
van,
out of it, Jesse?
be in front of the Adventist college. I mean, come on, it's a little bit creepy.
right. Imagine Jordan like driving up to Lincoln, Nebraska, and
He's like, hey,
one of
you
those
want to
vans.
come check out my van?
Oh, come on. It wasn't like that.
I got candy.
No. Hey, so I guess this is like a pretty important question. Like,
Yeah.
how do you guys, once you guys are together, how did you guys like prioritize whose career was going to be set up? Like, does that make sense? Like, whose career would be prioritized?
That's a whole nother episode, my
Ooh,
friend.
man, music off. I'm just kidding.
That's a whole nother episode, but yeah.
I guess. Okay, so how would we prioritize whose career was going to be the most important? Is that
What was the question?
Not most important, but like, how do you guys choose who do you guys want to, like, hey, I'll do this while you pursue school full time, or let me pursue my master's full time and you do that,
Jesse was already super old, so I didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, there was no pursuing school for me at that point. But I mean, in our case, like we both work, and I think we're perfectly okay with that. I mean, I like that she works. If she didn't want to work, fine. But it's like we
I
both.
think he meant like maybe how like Chris and Kim, like Chris followed Kim for her
Oh.
like her career.
Yeah.
She was, I think that's what he's asking.
Okay. Is that what you were asking?
I mean, for us, like we were
Sure.
both already established.
Like if you had to I don't know, move to Hawaii for some reason, is your job going to be the one that controls
It's
where you
whoever
guys
makes
are
the
Well, I
most
mean,
money.
just in general, like, how do you guys manage
That's
your
how you
career
prioritize.
while trying to pursue a relationship full time?
Hold on, say that again. I didn't hear that last.
So just like in general, like, how do you guys maintain and progress in your professional life while also pursuing a relationship full time? Do you then prioritize looking for a relationship while staying stagnant at your profession, or does it have to be a give and take, or could you do it simultaneously?
I think you can do it simultaneously.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you don't have to be together all the time.
And I think especially if this is happening before you have children, it's a lot easier to do it at the same time. Because once you have a family, then it's somebody's got to give.
That's a great point.
Family.
Don't have kids. Spend time together first. Work out some of those things. I'm not saying don't have kids anytime, but like for real, like for us, we spent the first 3 years, Vanessa and I, just working our things out, figuring out like what we enjoy doing, what work is like for both of us. I mean,
and that gave him time to finish like his clinical license, and do all the extra hours for that. So that really helped because it wasn't a big deal. It was just he and I. So it was, it's a little easier to.
Well, he was working late. She was home watching The Bachelor. So it's all good, It worked out.
I worked, Dwayne.
That's a great question, Jordan. I think we need to revisit this. Would you mind coming back and joining us again?
Dude, I'm trying to go to you guys.
Let us know when you're going to be
in Texas.
We'll
figure that out.
One way or another, I mean, whether you're here in person or
definitely.
we're definitely going to touch base with you because I mean that's a great question,
yeah,
and
sure.
I think I need to put some thought into that because that's man, no one ever asks us these things.
That's another episode. Yeah,
it is.
Honestly,
that's a good question. I don't think I've really thought about it till you mentioned it. Like, how did we work that out?
And then once
Being
you find
married?
a girl and get married, what happens next? That's another episode.
Wait, is it being married or just being together? Because when we were together, I was working in school and dating him.
That's a lot.
Well, when you're dating, it's different. You're focused more on yourself.
So dating me was like a chore?
No. You know what they say, like in college, when you have a boyfriend, it's like an extra 8-hour credit, right?
I never heard that.
It's like an elective.
For me, I mean.
I like that. I'm writing that
down. Awesome. Well, Jordan, man, thank you so much for being with us, man. I know the time just flew. Like we could just keep talking for like the rest of the evening. But I think our kids are probably gonna, go a little nuts if we don't give them some attention here soon. But but thanks, Jordan.
For sure. Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was great having you and great conversation, great questions, and look forward to next time, man. All right, for sure.
Yes, sir. Part 2 coming soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys.
All right, Jordan. Good night, man. Take care.
Night, guys. Good
night.
Right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks to our audience, guys. Everyone, we'll see you next time on Haystack Nation. God bless.
All right. God bless.